Your sports betting podcast is back in the saddle for Monday, February 16th, brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com. And promises made, promises delivered since the Score Phone days. Like I said, if you want us to never take a brief respite from doing the podcast, just please give us a 5-star review either on iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you're listening to us. That will help us in search engine. Joe Duffy's picks, only Fairfield with 3 free throws and then a 3-pointer in the last 2 possessions. Then after cutting a 15-point lead to 9 in a matter of seconds, they allowed the clock to run out, almost as if they only cared about the cover. That's the only thing that stopped us from another spectacular day yesterday, so Joe Duffy's pick's going to have to settle for 122-81 in basketball in yet another clockwork season. You know, most of our picks are just usually obscure games, but tonight we get the best for those people who like to have action on games they watch. That's not necessarily the smartest thing to do from an investment standpoint, but we keep everybody happy tonight. Those people who want to win and those people who like action on national TV games. The biggest play on the board tonight, without question, is Pittsburgh, Virginia, 7 o'clock Eastern Time from Joe Duffy's Picks. OffshoreInsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com. Now, here are some news and notes on those games, and including Pittsburgh, Virginia. Virginia is without perhaps their best player, Justin Anderson. 22 games this year, 13.4 points, 4.3 rebounds. Now, they lost against the spread 3 of the last 4 games that he played in, and they're 1-6 their last 7 against the spread, though 2 of those setbacks were by a combined 5 points. Seton Hall and Villanova. Is Seton Hall regressing to the mean? They started out a stunning 11-1 against the spread, although perhaps some good fortune ATS. 3 of those covers were by 1.5 or less, and 6 were by 4.5 or less in compiling that 11-1 spread mark. However, they're just 1-3 their last 4 and 3-6 their last 9, with 4 of those setbacks by at least 15.5 to the number. In fact, they're minus 5.11 points, and that is based on the sweat barometer, as we like to call it, margin of cover. They've averaged not covering by 5.11 points in their last 9. And Villanova, though, 17-7 to the number, although only by 1.1 points per game, so they've also been somewhat fortunate. For example, they've covered 6 straight, yet by an average of 3.41 points per game, which is pretty good, but not necessarily that fantastic for a team on a 6-game winning streak. Seton Hall still ranked as the 12th most inexperienced team entering the season. Now, as a general rule of thumb, a lot of sharps will tell you that that is a team that will start out slowly ATS, but then start to peak as the year goes on, although, as we've just documented, that has really not been the case for Seton Hall, who is now slumping spread-wise after the great start. Butler and Creighton. Creighton is without Isaiah Zerdin, but then again, he hasn't played since January 21st, but he a big part of the team in 20 games, 9.5 points per game, and also pretty good on the boards, 2.3 boards, 1.4 assists. They've lost 8 of 10 of the number with him in the lineup. Butler is a huge public bet with 83% of the wagers, but as we tell you, the public does tend to like to bet those road favorites. Kansas and West Virginia. West Virginia has lost 4 straight by 14.25 points per game relative to the number. Again, we're talking ATS, not straight up. However, 3 of those 4, 3 times in their last 4, they've actually lost straight up by at least 18. They're 2-6 their last 8 by minus 10.15 points. Again, that is relative to the spread. Kansas has 4 straight double-digit straight-up wins. Kansas has 4 double-digit wins over their last 5 games straight up. West Virginia is still projected to be in the dance, but they're reeling. And you know that Joe Duffy's Picks, this is right about the time of the year that we start paying attention. Teams that are slumping and near the bubble. Now, West Virginia is still inside the bubble, but they are reeling. And we love to fade teams that are playing poorly under pressure. Your free pick from Joe Duffy's Picks is to go with Kansas. Yes, we're really going with the public there, as again, Kansas is a pretty big public play, as again, the public likes to bet those small road favorites, but we believe the public is right here for the reasons we stated, so free pick is on Kansas. Tennessee Tech against East Tennessee State. Star guard Jalen Riley is expected to return for ETSU after missing the last game for personal reasons. My goodness, he is a big player for them. 24 games, he averages 19.8 points per game, 2.3 rebounds, and 2.7 assists per game. All right, it's a fairly short card for tonight, so a shorter podcast, but we plan to be back on Tuesday, and we plan to do this a lot more often if you just help us out a little bit. Go to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Go to Stitcher, give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to us. And remember, for the single biggest premium plays in the world, Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com.